made a right mess of this channel. Hasn't turned out the way I planned. Well, when I say planned, I mean the quick thoughts I had on what I was going to talk about. Not a proper plan, of course, because as you can probably tell, this channel, it's more, that's something I find interesting. So there's my phone, and 10 minutes later I've recorded it and it's up on YouTube. I'm not really a planner. Anyway, back to my big mistake. Now, YouTube is part of Google. So I went to Google and I said, give me a report on the subjects that I cover on this channel. I was hoping to see something like 33% on health in retirement, 33% on relationships in retirement, and 33% on finance in retirement. Now, as a watcher of the channel, you've probably guessed that this is not what Google told me. So of the 258 videos I've published on the channel, here's the breakdown. 3/4 of my content is about one thing: money. That's SIPs, ISAs, tax drawdowns, the 3-bucket strategy, cash buffers, 75%. Now, don't get me wrong, sorting out the financial, it's critical. If the numbers don't work, your plane is never going to leave the ground. But by focusing so heavily on the adding up, I've accidentally created a massive bias. Now, I treated retirement a bit like an Excel spreadsheet, but the lessons I've learned personally, both through my retirement and talking to hundreds of you guys, you can have a perfectly optimized, tax-efficient, bulletproof portfolio and still have an absolute nightmare of a retirement, because retirement isn't a financial event, it's a human event. And what we're going to talk about today is the other 25%, health and relationships, and why getting the sums right means absolutely nothing if you get them too wrong. But why are we hooked on this finance bias? And why do most of us fall into this trap when we're planning to hand in our notice? Well, it's because money's measurable. It's comforting. You can log onto your investment platform, look at a number, run a spreadsheet through a 4% rule calculator and get a neat, definitive answer. It gives us a sense of control over the inherently scary transition, which is retirement. But fixing your finances only solves one problem. It buys you freedom. It doesn't tell you what to do with that freedom. Now, money is just a fuel in a way. If you don't know where you're driving or your car's falling apart, a full tank of petrol's gone useless. So the first pillar of neglect then for my channel is health. In my video library, health accounts for about 15% of the content. When I do talk about it, it's usually of the psychological side, overcoming the fear of spending or dealing with the identity loss of leaving a corporate job. But we need to talk about the physical reality. Your health is the ultimate currency in retirement. It's the one thing you cannot buy back with a well-managed SIP. Well, think about it this way. What is the point of engineering the perfect bridge to get you, from 55 to state retirement age, if by the time you get there, you don't have any physical mobility to actually enjoy it? And when we're working, we put off health. We say, I'll get fit when I retire. I'll eat better when I've got more time. Then retirement hits, the structure of the 9 to 5 disappears, and if you're not careful, then sedentary habits take over. Your health isn't a retirement hobby, it's an absolute must. If your health fails, your retirement shrinks until it's the size of your living room. Now, no amount of compound interest fixes that. Okay, then there's the other category, the smallest category on my channel, relationships. It's less than 10% of the video is covered. And honestly, that's a massive oversight, because this is where the wheels usually fall off. When you retire, your social landscape changes overnight. You lose the casual water cooler or kettle interactions, the professional respect, the daily structure. But the biggest change actually happens here at home. Now, if you're married or have a partner, You go from seeing each other in the mornings and evenings to 24/7. Now, that's a massive shift for any relationship. I've joked about it before, but going through this sudden domestic proximity change requires some serious negotiation. You have to reinvent how you live together without kind of stifling each other's. And it's not just partners, it's family. How many of us build a retirement plan only to find our time and finances completely hijacked by the emotional guilt of over supporting adult children or becoming a full-time unpaid childcare for your grandchildren? If you don't design your relationships with kind of same deliberate planning you give your asset allocation, then the emotional friction will drain your energy faster than a stock market crash any day. So how do we fix this bias? Well, we have to view retirement as a three-legged stool. And finance is leg one, health is the second leg, and relationship is the third. Now, if the finance leg is 10 foot long because you've obsessed over it for a decade, but your health and relationship legs are only 2 inches long, then the still's completely useless. It's going to topple over. A truly wealthy retirement requires all three legs to be balanced. Now, moving forward on this channel, I'm making a commitment to fix the bias. We're still going to talk about the sums because I know we all love numbers and I know you will as much as I do, but I am going to dive much deeper into the lifestyle design. Now, whenever anyone sees fancy graphics, animations, or edited charts on YouTube, they usually assume the creators running a massive, highly profitable media operation. Believe me, I'm not doing that. So let's talk numbers. Do you want to know how much I actually earn from this channel? It's about £10 a month. Yep, 10 quid. That's just about enough to cover the subscription for this video editing software I use to put the videos together. Now, when I set out with Time to Try, I didn't expect to make any kind of money at all, and I'm completely fine with that. It's never part of the plan. But the interesting part isn't the £10 I make today. It's the money I turned down when I realized the channel had really gone off track. If we go back about 18 months, things look very different. The channel was actually pulling in around £300 every single month. By YouTube standards for a small niche channel like this, that wasn't bad going really. But I had a massive problem with how that money was being made. I took a look at the video content I was putting out at the time. I was making videos reacting to the government's latest white papers, shifting policies and kind of chaotic plans for pensions.
First things first, the state pension is a benefit, not an entitlement. Now, this is controversial, but it's also a fact.
And you know what happened? The algorithm loved it, of course, it blew up. But when I looked at the comments section, I realised I'd accidentally built the wrong channel. The audience wasn't full of people looking for some constructive, useful retirement lifestyle info. It was filled with doom scrollers, people who are actively looking for bad news, looking to get angry, and looking to confirm their worst fears about the future. Now, I realised I was feeding an anxiety machine. It's easily done on YouTube to chase the algorithm down a rabbit hole of outrage and anger clicks. Fear pays the bills, but that is not why I started this channel. I didn't retire just to become a compliance officer for government scaremongering. I wanted to help people and help myself build a practical, balanced life after work. So I nipped it in the bud. I stopped making those doom and gloom policy videos overnight. So unsurprisingly, my video views dropped through the floor. The algorithm walked away, ignored me, and the revenue plummeted from £300 back down to a tenner a month. But That's absolutely fine. I don't regret it for a second. It was never part of the plan. Because it allowed me then a clean slate and to focus entirely on what I enjoy talking about, which is the actual plan for a successful retirement. And that brings us right back to the mistake I've been talking about, my bias towards finance. Now, when I cut out the government doom mongering, I pivoted quite hard into tactical personal finance, SIPs, ISAs, cash buffers. That was a massive step up because it gave some useful tools instead of just anxiety. But as I admitted earlier, I still leaned too far into the adding up. I left the health and relationship bit behind. Now, the reason I'm sharing this income story with you today is to show you that this channel is still work in progress. I'm still learning, just like we're all learning about retirement planning, really. And I'm willing to do that pivot as long as we're having the right conversations. I'm not here to help you doom scroll your way into retirement anxiety, and I don't just want to give you a spreadsheet. But I want to help us together build a stable three-legged stool where our money, our health, and our relationships are all protected. So, to the core community who stuck around after that pivot 18 months ago, and to everyone who watches these videos, thank you so much for helping me to fund my £10 a month software subscription. Anyway, let's keep building retirement together, one that's worth living, and I'll see you on the next one.